Hey guys, recently I was looking through my analytics and I saw that you could actually see what your reviewers have been searching. One of the top searches for you guys was actually looking for the best camera settings in Rocket League. I've played this game for about 7 years now and I've gone through many different camera settings. So, over my thousands of hours, I figured I'd tell you guys what I've learned. So, just for the ease of things, I've narrowed it down into 3 subcategories. I've found a player that pretty accurately fits the subcategories to kind of help you explain the playstyle that those camera settings help. Our first set of camera settings here are very loose and flowy. They're a bit farther away from the car and they help me feel a little bit more mechanical and smooth with my movements and just all around flowing more and more from play to play. On the opposite end of things, my second set I've picked out here is very rigid and solid and consistent, and for me it helps me focus into the mindset of playing as a positional player, not going for too many flashy things that will put me out, and I like to use them when I'm pushing up in comp because it makes me feel smart and not overcommit. And last but not least, we have the in-between, which if you go to almost any pro's YouTube video about camera settings, something along the lines of this are probably what they're going to recommend to you. This is usually generally considered the standard. Anything with much variance from this is also usually acceptable, and it's just kind of an in-between. I find playing with this just when I'm not peeking and I'm not trying to play smart, it's just very comfortable. I don't find myself making mistakes, and I don't find myself feeling too stuck with no mechanics. And just so you guys can customize the camera settings to your own feel, I'll just give you some of the guidelines I've learned from off the top of my head. When you're looking at distance, you don't want to go much under 260 or over 310. That range in there is typically the golden range. Back a while ago, pros used to play 270 and 280, I believe, and some are starting to move up to 290. For height, you don't really want to go under 80 or over 110, and this just kind of keeps you level with your car. Way too high, you won't be able to see exactly what's going on, and too low, you won't be able to see up in the air above you, so it's just good to stay in this range. And for angle, you want to stay between -3 and -5. This kind of golden range, again, is just another thing. Unless you're going for like freestyler flip resets, then you could crank it up to, I don't know, like -8 or something. And finally, what I think is the most important is stiffness. And stiffness for me actually is super important, and that's the main difference between the 3 sets I showed you. If you notice, the first one has very low stiffness, the second one has maxed out stiffness, and the last one has somewhere in between. And lowering that stiffness seems to make your movements a little bit more flowy, and keeping it high keeps your gameplay and car consistent. So, depending on what type of player you are, I would definitely try to change your stiffness. Anyways, it's always good to remember that camera settings are 100% preference. There's no best camera settings in the game. Whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you play with, that's what you should run. So experiment around yourself and try and find something that makes you comfortable. Anyways, thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. If you like this, make sure to leave a comment and just tell me what other tips you'd like to hear in the future. I've spent so much time in this game, and one of my favorite things is just helping people to get up to where I am and understand the game how I understand it. So please leave any comment you want. I will try my best to answer it. Have a good one.